Hi, welcome to Girlies vs. TBR. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Mari.
And today we are doing a book chats video on Scythe Sparrow by Brynne Weaver. It's the last book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. Okay, so we are going to talk about like specific things that happen in the book. There's things that relate to the other characters in the other books in this trilogy. So a spoiler warning, if you have not read it, we are going to talk about it in detail, quotes, and like all that kind of stuff. This is the last book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. Where does this rank in the trilogy for you?
With the humor, it's pretty high up there. I think this is the funniest one for me. Obviously, Butcher and Blackbird, just because it's the first book. It's my introduction to Brynne Weaver, so that's number one for me, just because it is book one. I don't know. I like all of them.
For me, whenever I read a series, usually book one is always going to be like my number one, because that is the book that introduced me to the series and the characters. For me, it's Butcher and Blackbird, number one. Scythe and Sparrow.
I think Scythe and Sparrow
number
for two.
Yeah. And then
There's
Leather and
some
Lark
series.
number three.
This is... It's
It's
so good. I found it funny. The couple is funny.
Yes, they're hilarious.
And I like them. And I'm sad that this is the last book in the trilogy.
I know. I think why like Butcher and Blackbird and Scythe and Sparrow are a little bit higher than Leather and Lark for me is because it's like in Butcher and Blackbird and Scythe and Sparrow, these characters are psychotic. They're literally psycho and they don't have normal feelings. Fionn kind of does. Like Rose is more so carrying the psycho torch in this book than he is. And Butcher and Blackbird, like they're both psychotic crazy. That's why it works so well. And for Leather and Lark, they're both more so as normal people with like normal feelings. The psychotic funniness, dark humor, dark romance didn't hit as much for me. I still love Leather and Lark though, but these are like another tier.
When you first turn the page, we get a content and trigger warnings page.
As usual with Brynne Weaver books.
Is this longer than the other one?
It might be. She gets longer and longer.
Content.
I'm going to read the trigger warnings.
I'm going to read eyeballs, ... Again, eyelids, cotton candy, sausages, hot dogs, staple guns, drug-addicted raccoons, clowns, sexy clowns, medical trauma, impaling, injured dog, DV, parental neglect, numerous weapons and sharp objects, detailed sex scenes, which is obviously we already knew that, explicit and colorful language, obviously, and a lot of injury and death.
Because it's serial killers.
When I read the cotton candy one, I was like, another food.
She ruins food in like every single book.
Book one was the ice cream one?
It was the ice cream, the cookies and cream ice cream. Book two had a lot. Leather and Lark it was like smoothies, pizza, and beer.
And I like that she adds a playlist for each one. It's just fun. Like you could listen to the music.
Do you listen to it as you're reading? Because she does have like specific songs for specific chapters.
Not actively, like I listen to it afterwards.
Oh, okay. I like don't
get the vibe. No.
I don't think I've ever listened to one, to be honest. Like I appreciate them in there, but then I look at the playlist and then I go into the book and then I forget that there's even a playlist is the thing. So I don't think I've ever listened to one that has it at the same time. We also have the Barnes & Noble exclusives we got, and they do have art in them.
Very cute.
Yeah.
The raccoon is in there, right?
Yeah, the raccoon is in the corner.
Barbara.
I
called her Rebecca.
Not Rebecca.
I knew it was Barbara. And I think I made my post and I said Rebecca. And I changed it because I'm an idiot. Look, I never know.
She was like, I want to talk about Rebecca. And I was like,
Who's Rebecca?
Who's Rebecca?
Yeah. And she was like, Barbara? You fool.
And then I was like, wait, am I wrong? And I had to go double check.
I'm the wrong one.
Yeah.
I always get something mixed up. I don't know. We open up to page one.
Page one
already starts off amazing.
Yes.
You want to read it, Alyssa?
Yes, I can. So this is from Rose's perspective. Rose is our FMC in this book. She is in the circus. We have met her in the other books so far, so that's exciting. If you hit someone in the back of the head hard enough, you can pop their eyeballs right out of their face. Or at least that's what I read somewhere. And that's what I'm thinking as I shuffle my tarot deck, glaring at the sketchy-looking asshole 30 feet away as he pours alcohol from a flask into his soda and takes a long gulp. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
what an introduction.
What an image.
And that kind of like sets up pretty much what her role is
Mhm.
throughout this whole book, especially as like the sparrow.
Mhm.
Like we end up finding out that she actually helps women in toxic relationships trying to get out by just
So she meets women at her circus job. She also reads tarot. She pulls the Ace of Cups, tries to convince them to want to be free and stuff like that. And if they say that in the past, she was mainly giving them stuff to poison their husbands, but now she wants to take a more active role and actually kill them herself. Character growth.
Yeah, more like
Yeah. That's where we meet Rose. She's at her tarot deck reading tent, and she's gonna meet an asshole guy and a woman who does not want to be with him anymore.
going into the active role. She actually hunts him down, stabs him in the eye.
And what does she stab him in the eyeball with?
Cocktail sticks. Cocktail sticks.
Like the little pokey ones that you like put, your cherry on. She just shoves a whole bunch of them straight into his eyeball. Which,
oh my God.
she does everything without a goddamn plan. Rose, please for once, plan something.
Nope. Doesn't know what that is going on.
Nope.
And she's disgusted the whole time. Like,
Yes.
she is...
Like, fighting, puking. She's like, this is so gross. He ends up attacking her back.
And then that's where we kind of find her just breaking and entering into this clinic.
Owned by Fionn Kane.
Dr. McSpicy. I love that nickname.
That was like one of the first really funny scenes that
Yeah.
we like have between them interacting is that she's like in the ambulance and she's like, are you even a real doctor?
Yeah. This is Fionn's POV. On page 21, she goes, are you like a real doctor? I blink at her. Yes. You don't sound sure. I'm pretty sure. Put your mask back on. You look like a TV doctor. Dr. McSpicy or something. What are your credentials? I look over at the paramedic who tries to chew her grin into submission. You only gave her morphine, right? I love her. She just says whatever is on her mind. She doesn't really hold back.
She doesn't, and she's very intuitive too. So she really like cuts straight to the point and she'll just say it.
On 29, she says, and oh holy fuck, but he's 10 times hotter than I remember from the first time we met. So this is like when she's off of the morphine, I believe.
Yeah, and she's like not in pain from her broken leg.
She still thinks he's hot as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
After she gets out of the hospital, Dr. McSpicy, yeah, I'll take you home. Like, where do you live? And so because she's part of the circus, she's basically mobile.
It's like a lot for like motorhomes or RVs.
She's like, yeah, you could drop me off. It's like, when they refer to the communal shower.
Yeah.
And they're like looking around like, this place doesn't look... One of the things that I cackled at was on page 43. Well, she says, looks totally safe. And he goes, they only murder people in there on the weekends.
Yeah.
Safe.
There's
at
like
all.
creepy children like on the swing, children of the corn style. I don't know about this. I don't really want to leave you here. And so the solution is he's just like, you should just come live with me.
I'll take care of you.
Yeah, while you recover.
Like, imagine someone saying that to you. Like, I will take care of you.
And he's a doctor.
He's Dr. McSpicy. I will only refer to him as Dr. McSpicy.
Yeah.
Fionn. Well, he goes back to his clinic and he is like, there's an intruder.
He's like, he like looks at his phone because he gets an alert and he's like, it's fucking Barbara.
Yeah.
And she's like, who's Barbara? Let's go. I'm ready to throw fists at Barbara.
Barbara's the raccoon.
The drug addicted raccoon.
That is, breaking and entering just like Rose.
Yep.
Just like Rose. This is page 60. I kind of wouldn't mind watching Dr. McSpicy rolling up his sleeves and getting into fisticuffs with a crazed trash panda. And then he goes, fisticuffs, I snort. Well, chances are you will. It happens more often than it should. And it's just a fucking raccoon.
And Rose figures how she's getting into the clinic, but she does not tell Fionn. Nope. She's like, Barbara can keep getting in.
Yeah, she says that they're kindred spirits.
Which is really funny because they go in to like remove Barbara from the premises, right? And he's like, you need to be quiet. Like, She's gonna hear you. She's gonna sense your fear. Please. And she's just like, this is just a fucking raccoon. They're going around the, like, darkened clinic, right? Because it's closed. Barbara comes out of nowhere to, like, jump on them. And he, like, pushes Rose out of the way. Takes Barbara full to the face. Barbara's, like, scratching his face. And then they finally get her off and wrap her in a towel. But then they have a surprise visitor. Matt the Cranwell? I think it's Cranwell. Matt Cranwell. The guy she stabbed in the eye with the cocktail sticks. Yeah, he's here to inquire about the doctor. The scene's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Okay, but what was it that, because you texted me. I did not notice this.
I just had like a little thing that I noticed. You learn that Matt Cranwell was a former police detective. He basically got fired, so we know he wasn't a good police detective. However, he shows up to the clinic right after Fionn is, like, attacked in the face by the raccoon. And we know he has scratches, like, all on his face because Rose mentions it. And Matt Cranwell just, like, does not question Fionn about that whatsoever. And so I was like, I was gonna forget he's, like, scratched to hell. But would you not be like, hey, what happened?
Right.
I don't know. That was just a little thing that I noticed. And I don't think I really would have noticed it unless I stopped at that, like, right around that scene, and I had to reread it.
And I was like, Alyssa, of course you would point that out. It's so funny because in, like, one of the past videos, she's like, yeah, I just read for the vibes. Like, there's no thoughts up here. But then she points out things like this.
Okay, but I reread that scene.
She's paying attention.
Sometimes.
Okay, so now we meet another guy, Eric.
Yeah, and he deserves to die.
Eric is the husband of the nurse that was helping her in the hospital. She meets this guy in this shop, and she's, like, listening to his phone call and is just, like, disgusted by him, like, completely. She's just like, this guy gotta go. This is the next target. I tabbed on page 83. Again, she goes into this without planning anything.
She got a broken ass leg in a cast.
Yeah,
and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill this man.
She's
no
like,
plan.
Nothing. She's
Rose, please.
She's going for it.
She gave me such a bad anxiety.
She kind of sneaks into Eric's truck. Her phone is what goes off. And she's like, well, I gotta go now because...
Yeah. Because he's like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? And then she goes, it's now or never. I toss the blanket aside as I burst from my hiding place. My shiny new blade clutched tight in my fist. Ta-da, motherfucker. When I tell you... I laughed so hard. She's so fucking funny.
Like, she literally is laying down in the back of his truck under a blanket with her full, like, half, I think it's half her leg in a cast. A brand new hunting blade that she just bought, like, 10 minutes before. Phone goes off. Again, no planning. Her phone goes off. And then she just goes, ta-da, motherfucker.
This whole scene is a fucking mess, bro.
Yeah.
A mess because she didn't plan it. How the fuck am I going to clean this? How am I going to...
Yeah. She has nowhere to put the body.
Yeah, she's stuck in this truck.
Yeah, the truck gets stuck in, like, mud.
With a dead body.
She's, like, trying not to puke again.
And then she's like, let me call Dr. McSpicy.
Let me just...
Yeah.
Hey, Fionn.
Yeah. This is page 86. She's like, I'm in a bit of a quandary. I got the jump on a Fleabag townie, and it kind of backfired. Fionn's just like, you what? You did what?
Yeah.
Fionn gets there, and she's like, I started it. And he's like, you started it? And she's like, yeah. McSpicy says, aren't you supposed to say that he started it? They're bantering back and forth while this man is like
dead, covered in blood in the truck.
Bro, it's a whole mess.
And Fionn's not fazed by the dead body, but he's, like, fazed by Rose being so nonchalant about it.
Homegirl did not have any backup plan at all. She goes, you're not freaking out. Fionn turns his gaze to me, his eyes narrowing. I am on the inside. And then we get another kind of gruesome detail.
Yeah.
It's so gross. I cringed.
Yeah.
I cringed. I was like, I can't do this. 92. Fionn's whispered curses fall into the backdrop. As I press the handle down, pop a staple into his eyelid to attach it to the flesh below his brow and then turn to retch. You might want to find another hobby, he offers. How are they bantering while this is happening?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's so gross.
It's like she needed his eyes open for his like facial recognition on his phone. And so she finds a stapler and just like, I'm just gonna staple his eyelids open. But I can't. She like staples and then she's like, and she like staples and she's like, like, girl.
Ugh. And Fion's just there like supporting her the whole time. Mm-hmm. He's just there. We love a supportive man.
Yeah. And he does take care of it. He runs the truck into the river.
That's pretty much how that scene ends.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Later, Rose picks another victim. His name is Chad.
Of course his name is Chad.
Of course his name is Chad. Sorry to... Actually, you know what? Not sorry to any Chads.
Ruthless.
Fionn finds out about this guy because Rose is back at the circus and she's recovering from having her leg broken. She has a treadmill in her RV. Fionn comes over, hears her on the treadmill, right? But then she answers the door and he's like, oh, who's on the treadmill? And it's a man. And Fiona's like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry. Also, what the fuck? She's like, no, like, come in. She just has this, like, giant man running on the treadmill very fast. Like, he's, like, sweating. And Fiona's just like, what the fuck is happening here?
On page 219, she goes, I finally land on, you gave him amphetamines? Rose snorts a lot of amphetamines. He goes, why? He goes, and your plan now is what exactly? And she's like, I don't know.
Again, no plan. Rose.
No plan.
Girl, get it together.
Plan. They open the door, put him outside.
Yeah. They're like, go run around outside some.
To run off, like, the drugs.
Yeah.
And, like, he literally falls into the white picket fence. Like, he impales himself.
Yeah. Like, straight through here.
Ugh.
He, like, tries to, like, do, like, hurdles. And they're like, oh, that's not a good idea. And then he just goes... dead.
Ugh.
That part was kind of gross, to be honest. But again, she had, like, no plan. She's literally like, oh, I'm just gonna give him so many amphetamines that his heart, like, literally gives out. He would not die until he decided to try to hurdle a fence. You know what? That's appropriate for him.
That's a Chad way to die.
That's a Chad way to die.
During this whole time of killing men, well, not knowing whether to go back to the circus or not, because, like, you know, feelings are being developed. They're growing. They end up having sex.
I didn't think you were gonna say it.
Because why
like
not?
that.
They're like, yeah, we can't fight this attraction anymore.
Yeah. And they're like, we're just gonna keep it physical. So they make all these rules because they're living together still. He's still her doctor. Poor boy feels really, you know, conflicted about that.
Whatever.
It's fine.
Whatever. And so we get to the cotton candy scene. What?
Yeah.
What?
She went back to the circus.
Oh, yes.
Okay. She went back to the circus. And he's, like, visiting her. He goes to, like, visit her at some of her stops and stuff. So this was, like, a planned visit. Okay.
And they're chasing each other around. Like, he's, like, chasing her.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I know these circus grounds better than you.
And she's, like, running away from him, hiding. And they end up...
Closed concession stand.
Yeah. And there's a cotton candy machine. She kind of surprises him with something. That's a
I don't know if we can say it. Are you gonna say it?
I'll censor it. You know, he takes it out and, you know, wraps it with cotton candy.
Well, he washes it first. He washes it first.
Well, yeah, whatever. He washes it first.
That's a very important part.
Yeah, he washes it first.
You can't skip that step.
Yeah. Let's clarify. He washes it first.
Which, when he goes to, like, wash it, he's, like, she, like, fully describes him, like, really, really washing it. And I was like, damn, why do we need this, like, whole description of him, like,
well, because she wanted it to make it clear.
I know.
That it's not straight from her peaches. You know what I mean? It's not straight from her peaches.
Yeah.
Cleanliness.
Yeah, so he cleans it.
And then covers it.
And cotton candy.
And she eats it.
She eats the cotton candy.
And then he covers parts of her with cotton candy.
Yeah.
And eats it. I enjoyed it. It was fun to read.
Yes.
And
which she does say in the trigger warnings, like, because she does usually ruin food in a very bad way in every other book. And in this one, she's like, I don't really ruin it. I just defile cotton candy a little bit. They just do this back and forth for, like, a year. Literally, I turn and it says 1 year later.
I was not expecting the 1 year later.
Me either.
I was like, what
Get your shit together, y'all. The audacity.
She ends up killing
Matt Cranwell, the guy that
that from the beginning. Yeah. Matt. They're in a haunted house and she's, like, dressed up as, like, the Terrifier or something. Yeah. Wanting to kill her. You are not going to kill me. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. He literally follows her there, by the way.
Like, it's creepy.
He suspects her the whole time of being the one that stabbed his eye out with cocktail sticks and the one that killed the other man in the truck. And he's like, I'm on to you. I'm gonna get you. And that's also part of the reason why she leaves to go back to the circus, too. They thought they were free and clear, and he shows back up and is like, guess what? I know it was you. This is the end of it.
Yep. So she does the ta-da motherfucker again.
Yeah.
The wooden seat and, like, hits Matt in the back of the head.
They're, like, fighting in her tarot reading tent.
She hit him so hard that his eye popped
His
out.
other eye.
Yeah.
Popped out the back
Man's
of his
gonna
head.
be blind.
Recall to line 1, please, where if you hit a man in the back of the head hard enough, his eyes will pop out.
What a full circle.
Yeah. We love a full circle moment.
Fionn does something that we were both very confused about.
Yeah.
We don't understand. They're trying to clean up the body, the scene, because it was very bloody, and
They like killed him in the haunted house, basically.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Fionn hung him up on like the meat hook on the wall.
Oh,
It was great.
Yeah, that was amazing. Because he finally got into like the urges that he was having. He didn't want to seem like his dad, and so he had an issue with that the whole book. Like he knew he enjoyed killing.
He knew it was like part of him, but he didn't want to be that person.
Yeah.
He also kind of had these expectations from his brothers. He believes kind of expected Fionn to be like the better guy out of all of them, and so he was really trying to live up to that. And throughout the book, he's like grappling with that whole issue, and he gives in a couple of times to like his darker side. But Rose likes that anyway. Finally, like, goes all the way. Brutally murders Matt Cranwell.
Yeah, which that motherfucker deserved it.
Yeah.
And so then this is where we get to the part where Fionn has to call someone to help clean up the mess.
Yes, he's a cleanup crew.
Yeah, and so we both thought that he was going to call his brothers.
Lachlan literally is a cleaner.
And so
And they're
I thought
in
they
the
were gonna
city
call
that
that.
his brothers are in. They're in Boston.
So
Or right outside.
I was like, yeah, he's going to call the brothers. And
Mhm.
finally, they're going to be like, oh yeah, join the club of serial killing.
Yeah, exactly.
No! What do we get?
He fucking calls Leander.
Oh my god.
Leander from book 2 mainly. Lachlan is like under Leander's thumb. Leander saved the boys back in, I don't know how to say the town they're from. Like, what's it called? Sligo. He saves the boys back in Sligo when they murder their father and they're just teenagers. So, like, Lachlan, like, owes him. Lachlan is, like, tied to this. He's, like, kind of a mob kind of figure. And the whole point of Leather and Lark, book 2, is, like, him trying to get out from under Leander's thumb. So he did, but now freaking Fionn calls Leander, and now he's gonna owe him.
Why?
Homeboy has no thought process.
Leander is like, well, now you owe me, and I'm gonna send you somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I need you to do this job for me. He has to go.
He's like, you need to leave now. You're gonna leave for like, it was like 7 or 9 months or something.
Yeah, right when they're at the peak of their relationship, like they're going to have that breakthrough of they're gonna finally like get together.
Yeah.
But now.
No, he's like, you gotta go.
Why? Theon! Dr. McSpicy, what are you doing? God damn it. You were this close to that breakthrough, and then you leave.
So he calls Leander. Leander is like, you're gonna be under contract now. And then we have intertwined, all the books kind of take place similar timelines, like same timelines. So we have intertwined the events that happen toward the end of Leather and Lark, where Lark gets kidnapped and Lachlan goes to save her. Rose is there because Rose joins in on trying to find Lark. At the end of Leather and Lark, she gets stabbed with like a metal pole. And then she ends up in the hospital. Leander, this cold motherfucker, is like, I don't care whether your girlfriend lives or dies. You're going to be on that plane at 6 p.m. and you're going to be gone, no contact for 9 months or whatever it was. Because he cannot tell anyone where he is. He cannot have contact with his family. He cannot have contact with Rose. Even worse now, she literally almost died. They were going to make that step forward in their relationship. And Leander's like, nah, you got to go.
Fionn saves her.
Yes.
While they're in the ambulance. He's not there when she wakes up.
He leaves her his first letter in the hospital. And then we get to the part that, like, made me sob.
You actually cried?
I did cry a little
didn't.
bit. I, like, teared up. Usually when I say I sob, it's me, like, tearing up and me going, ah! I think he's in, like, Poland or something. And he decides to send her a letter a week. Mm-hmm. And every letter he sends her has a tarot card in it.
And it's so sweet. We get, like, the snippets of what's in the letter. She writes letters to him, but she doesn't send them.
She doesn't know where to send them, too, is the thing. Like, one of the quotes from the first letter that, like, really stood out to me on 3/29, he said, "So I will love you enough for the both of us."
And he also, like, ends the letter with the same thing. "I love you. I'm not letting you go. I never will." He writes her letters for how many months? Like 9?
I think it's 7 or 9 months.
7 to 9 months he's gone. She's trying to get through life. She's trying to figure out her feelings for Fionn.
And she doesn't know if she wants to still stay in the circus, or she doesn't really know what she wants to do either.
The letters, like, kind of keep her sane in a way.
So when his contract is done with Leander, comes back, he writes her one last letter that he will hopefully time with her last stop on the circus. Basically saying, like, "I'm back now. I will be waiting in the city on the Lookout Rock, and I will be there every day from sunup to sundown." Waiting for you. Yeah, that got me. That got me bad.
Oh, and he gets a tattoo of her EKG. I was like, her heartbeat.
Yeah. Tattooed.
Stop. I was so emotional. 348. Because he's reading out the letter.
Yeah.
And he ends it with the Lovers card.
He gives her, like, the full tarot deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she reads, like, a letter that she wrote to him, too. So they go back to the end, and she reads. When she started reading her letter, that also got me.
She's, like, finally putting some of her emotions out there. Because she was very closed off with that. He hurt her, so. Yeah. But I'm glad that they got to that point. And this, like, letters is so classic.
Yeah, it is. And it is funny, like, when she does finally show up to the Lookout Rock, he's like, "Well, like, I am at this inn. Like, you can come with me if you want. You can stay with me, you know?" And this is the first time meeting after being away for so many months. And so, like, they're both very hesitant. And so he's like, "It's like a bed and breakfast." And, like, he's saying all this stuff. And she's just like, And then he's like, there's only, like, one bed. And then she was like, "Well, that's what I was waiting for you to get to. The only one bed trope."
Yes.
And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And then she goes back with him. There is, like, another parallel, kind of, that I do want to talk about. When Rose, like, is still living with him back in Hartford and whatever, like, bumfuck state they're in, she, on page 136, she kind of hits him with this quote. It says, "Have you been living in Hartford, Doc, or have you just been hiding out in it?" Because she knows that he's not, like, living up to his true, like, self and stuff. And that he's not, his other brothers are back in Boston. He's not living with them, kind of thing. Because he is trying to be, like, the better person. And so he moved to this place. You know, she kind of makes him realize that he doesn't know his neighbors. He doesn't know people in his community, except for the Suture sisters. Later, we kind of get the same thing where Rose is back in the circus. And she's, like, kind of not knowing what she wants to do. And then Jose kind of shows up, which is, like, the circus owner. He's, like, that runs the whole thing. And he originally took her in when she was a teenager, so they're very close. And then he hits her with a, "What are you doing here, Rose?" And she says, "What do you mean? I live here." And he says, "No, you don't. You exist here." That really got me, because he's kind of like her father figure, kind of. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of takes care of her and stuff. And he's just like, "You know what? No, like, this is not like what you're meant to do forever, and you, like, clearly found the person that you want to be with, and now you're just, like, existing while you're here. You know, you're not actually living." Yeah, I'm sure, like, that was hard for Rose to hear too, because she kind of said the same thing to Fionn. And so now they're both kind of, like, realizing they were not, like, actually living in the places that they were, and they love each other, so they have to be together.
Yeah, they're each other's home.
Toward the ending, all of the characters in the series, so all of his brothers and their partners as well, go to a cabin. He finally is coming back from being away because he kind of met up with Rose first and then was like, okay, now we'll go see my brothers. I haven't seen them for a month. He decides that like he's gonna propose to Rose there. So he does. Again, one of the other lines that had me like, was when he is like getting ready, like he's making sure he has the ring in his pocket kind of thing, and he like says to himself, when we look up to the stars, we're looking back in time, but all I see is the future, and it's richer and brighter than I ever thought it would be.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that got me.
The Suture Sisters, like Fionn is in this group for crochet, and
which he didn't think was crochet. He saw an ad for Suture Sisters and was like to stitch up
something,
people.
yeah.
But it was crochet. She like sees a crocheted like doily or something, and she's like, and then she sees an ad for the Suture Sisters, and she's like, and then she just decides to go show up, and he like comes in, and she's like sitting there already with them.
They're older ladies, and so they have like this bit of like she's gonna make a sex swinger. The older women are like, yeah, like you could like do this and like make
this
like
yarn.
tips and stuff like that. And
they're like
he's
all
just
for
like
it.
He's horrified. He's like, what the fuck? And so then that comes up later.
It's in the Barnes & Noble exclusive like content, the bonus chapter.
It's called Suspended.
Yeah.
And it's in Rose POV.
Yeah. Where they finally, she finishes the sex queen and they're in their like home that they bought together. Yeah. And she surprises him with it.
Yeah. We get 2 epilogues, not just 1.
Yes. Epilogue 1 is we go back to the beginning, which I really, really, really like.
I loved it.
I loved that we kind of go back to the couple that started it all, Sloane and Rowan. It's them going to the cabin where Fionn does propose. They're all meeting up there for the weekend for a specific purpose that we find out in Epilogue 2. In Sloane's point of view, and Rowan, in true Rowan fashion, decides to dress up like a dragon. A polyester
dragon suit.
So he has a dragon suit and he paints himself with poster paint that does not come off.
Nope.
And he has to like wear it for hours or like driving around. And by the way, he is dressed up as Soul, Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. That's totally what it is. Okay.
We love it.
They mentioned it in book 1. So he's dressed up as a dragon again because she likes to read dragon smut, which girl, same. And like the paint is not coming off and they're like driving around and it's like fucking hilarious. It's like we see kind of like where they're at and then she ends up stalking somebody because, you know, you do find out they are there to kill somebody for their annual August showdown.
Yep, and that's where Epilogue 2 comes in, where we're introduced to another character.
Yeah.
Autumn Bauer.
Yes.
She is mentioned towards the end. It says, once upon a time, my name was Autumn Bauer, and I have my own story to tell. Is it going to be another series?
I think it's got to be like at least another trilogy or something. Autumn was from book 1, Butcher and Blackbird.
Yeah.
Where Sloane and Rowan are going to go kill the guy with the chainsaw. And he had killed her husband. They released her. She was like in the cellar thing. They saved her and like told her to run. And so now she's like, I could be like them. She's kind of like stalking them. She kind of realizes what they're doing. I mean, obviously she realized what they did when they killed the other guy. And
she's like, oh.
She's like, yeah.
My time to shine.
I could do that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I need to know, Brynne, tell us. You know what? I think I did see on the Publisher's Marketplace saying that it's another trilogy, if I remember correctly. Oh, the typo.
Oh, yeah. Another thing Alyssa noticed.
Just like a little after note, okay? Well, I was reading another like little thing that I noticed. I texted you about, and I was like, I found a fucking typo. It happens sometimes. Anyway, the quote on 356, you know what? Y'all check yours because I wonder if they figured it out because this was like the first print run I think that we have. It says, he could force me into it with the mountain of evidence he still holds in his gasp. Of course.
Gasp
instead of grasp. I was like, wait, I read it and I was like, wait. Like, did I just read that wrong? And then I read it again and I was like, nope, that's a typo. I sent you a video.
Yeah, you did. I was cackling and I'm like, of course Alyssa would notice that.
I'm just here for the vibes.
Here for the vibes. Yep, this was such a good book.
I really love Rose kind of like bringing the darkness out of Fionn and being like, it's fine that you're like this because I love this about you too.
Love, like there's slow burn, like you can feel the tension when they banter and like when they get close to each other, but it's not a right away thing. So I really appreciated that. There's a lot of yearning in this one.
Yeah, freaking Butcher and Blackbird is like going on for 4 goddamn years. 4 years. I think Fionn needed somebody like Rose. He needed somebody a little psycho like Rose.
She's so funny.
Oh, they kept Barbara as a pet. She like walks
Barbara's
her around on a freaking leash. It's great.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Barbara had to stay.
And I also love how like all 3 of the series were intertwined. And they like all would converge at the point where Lark,
it's like all happening at the same time.
Yeah, where Lark gets like kidnapped. That's like a big point in like most of the books. So we're excited for more. Give us more.
Brynne, give us more.
Give us more.
Please, please. That was our book chats for Scythe and Sparrow.
Yes.
And we yapped a lot.
We
laughed a lot and cried a lot.
Yeah.
Well, she cried. It was great. That's it. That's all we got. All right. Bye.
Bye.